Hi everybody, welcome back to Homestead, Ohio. And as you may have guessed, I need a little help out here on the homestead, so I decided to put some of these little guys to work, and they're going to help out a little bit on the homestead. Now what I did here was I set up a little base here because nothing out here is level at all. And I needed a somewhat level spot here and something that I didn't have to mow or weed eat right around the base of the hives. And I set up this little form right here, filled it full of gravel, put some weed block underneath it, filled it full of gravel, put a couple concrete bases under there, they're pavers, and set some blocks on it. Now I'm going to put my hives on there. So my oldest daughter has taken a beekeeping course, and we've watched a bunch of videos and stuff, and we went ahead and got some beehives. These are screen bottoms on these, and this is a tray to catch varroa mites. We drew the grid on there so you can calculate the load of varroa mites your colony may have. And we're going to put a little coating of oil on this thing when we get the bees. Right now we got everything painted so that it's weather resistant, a good outdoor paint. And we're going to go ahead and get these things set up on the bases here. Now the hives are 16 inches by 24 inches on the base. The box itself is a little bit smaller. This is a little landing pad right here for the bees. Come down in here and go inside the hive there. The tray comes out of the back here, so you can do your varroa mite calculations. I hope to see 0 on it, but that's just probably not going to happen. Now these are the hives, the actual boxes themselves. These are deep boxes. They're beehives, that's what they are, and they just sit right on top of there. And then inside you've got your frames, and these are deep frames. These are a plastic foundation that has a wax coating on it. It has the little hexagonal pattern in there already. They put a coating of beeswax on it that gets the bees kind of used to making their home there. This is a 10 frame box, so there are 10 of these frames in there. And this is the first of the 2 deep boxes that go on here. All right, this is the second one, and it just sits right on top of it. Just kind of line everything up. Again, this one also has the frames in it. 10 frames in here. You can get them in different sizes. You can get 8 frame boxes. We decided to go with the 10 frames. Then on top of that, we've got a few more parts and pieces. This is called a honey super. This is a medium super. It's not quite as tall as the boxes themselves. And again, it just sits right on top. Inside of that, you have an inner lid. Now this has got a plywood piece in between there with a little opening there. The bees can get up inside there. But this has the plywood is kind of offset, a little closer to the bottom, so it's less room for the bees to get up there and try to attach their combs to the top of this and build downward. That sits on top of there. Now inside the super, there are going to be frames in there. I do not have those frames yet. A little mix up when I got the parts and pieces and stuff, and a lot of talking and a little bit of forgetting. But there'll be 10 frames inside of that too. And then this is your lid, and it does have a metal top on it there, so it's pretty weather resistant, and it just sits right on top of there. Now there's going to be another piece that goes on top of this. It's going to be a like a ventilated top that goes on there, and there's 2 ways you can put it on there for winter and summer. So summer, this box is going to get pretty hot inside. Even though it is painted white, it'll reflect a lot of the heat. Bees make a lot of their own heat, and in the winter time the lid can be insulated, and it's just insulated with pine shavings or natural fibers or something inside there. But right now this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so right now I don't have any bees in the hives here. Next Saturday, I'm going to go pick up a queen, just one queen and a whole colony. Now it'll come in a nuke or a nook or whatever you want to call it. It's a nucleus, and it is a whole colony pretty much. It's a queen with a bunch of workers and drones and all that kind of stuff. So what we'll do is when we get those here, we will go ahead and put them in one of these two boxes here, and hopefully they'll stay there, and maybe we'll get another colony and put it in the other box, or maybe they'll split or something. There's going to be plenty of room here for them, but we're going to get 5 frames with the nucleus, and we'll take the super off the top here, and we'll go ahead and get into the first of the bottom deep hive, and we'll take 5 of those frames out and put the 5 in there, because they're already going to have everything that they need in there. They're going to have feed and pollen, and there'll be eggs in there, babies in there, brood, and all the other parts and pieces that they need to survive. And then out here in this field, now I haven't grown much out here, but there's lots of clover that grows here, so there's lots of food for them. And here this fall, all this in the back here, all these weeds, the taller weeds, is goldenrod, and there's a whole lot of it. So this whole hillside all the way around here will be a nice golden color, and they'll have plenty to feed on there. Now we probably will not be harvesting any honey this year because they're going to need it for winter, and right now it is June 20 something, so it's kind of early midsummer, and we've got a ways to go to get this colony built up so that they can survive through the winter. And hopefully we'll get 2 colonies built up in here and get them surviving and producing honey, and then hopefully next year we'll be able to harvest some of that honey. So hopefully once we get the colonies in here, we get them in the lower deep hives on here, they'll be able to just start going right to work and tending to everything, because they'll have a home and they'll have something to defend. And they'll have plenty of food source out here in the field. There's a lot of wildflowers coming up here, and I probably will cut back on my mowing just so that I'm not taking so much food away from them. There, like I said, there's a lot of it just right here. Probably put some flowers out here because it's not going to hurt anyways. They're beneficial to the bees, and you know, they are pollinators, so hopefully there'll be more flowers, more stuff growing out here that'll benefit all of us. It gives me something to look at, it gives the bees something to feed on. But yeah, that's my hopes anyways, to get these things going and get some good strong colonies here. And with the 18 acres I've got here, I got plenty of places to put even more hives in the future, and they will work on their own. I don't need to do anything to them or for them. I don't have to weed or anything. I have to check on them occasionally, probably a weekly check on them, at least at first. And then after a while, just keep a real close eye on the colonies and make sure they're doing all right and they're surviving and producing and happy. And you know, so if you want to check out beekeeping, there's a whole lot of different videos on YouTube, and there's a whole lot of different websites out there. I bought these from a place that's local to me, kind of about an hour away from me, and went over there and picked them all up and talked to them a lot. And like I said, my oldest daughter took a beekeeping course, so she knows what to do and what not to do and all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of handy, so hopefully we'll get into the bee raising. Not really a business. I don't want to do it for a business, but if I've got a little surplus and somebody wants to buy some local honey, I'll probably end up selling some that I don't need. Anyways, thanks for watching Homestead, Ohio, and if you could, reach up here and hit this button to check out some of my other videos, and hit this button down here to subscribe, and keep watching. Hopefully there'll be a lot more stuff to come.